Hello everybody. One of my favorite units in this game has been the Tuna ever since it came out. If you don't know, the Tuna is a faint pet on tier 3 that I believe is in the star pack still. I don't know who plays that pack anymore. But it faints. When it faints, it gives 1/1 randomly for each time it was hurt, which upgrades to 2/2 and 3/3 on level up. It's generally pretty bad. It's really fun in concept because all of the triggers happen like separately, but the unfortunate reality is that it'll only ever get hurt like maybe a few times, and even if you get like Leech Tuna, it's basically just giraffe scaling, which is pretty underwhelming for 2 units that you would have to like both get early. So it's not particularly good, but I have found a potential way to make it work. It utilizes the skunk and the hydra. I think this is like something that's been done quite a few times with skunk hydra, and then you get a really high attack unit with chili. The skunk will trigger, and then the hydra will flip, so the opposing team will end up with something like a 150 unit. And then you just farm as much chili as you possibly can on that unit. And okay, yeah, like that's not the most creative thing in the world, but I figured that it was probably the best way to make Tuna work. I've tried making it work with like a bunch of feints and lamprey and things like that, but it just never seems to be enough. It can never really compete with the current customs pool. That being said, I think this build can potentially go way better. I just haven't had a run where I've gotten exactly what I wanted, but this is just the closest I've gotten so far. The dream is eventually to have it trigger 50 times in battle. The dream is that you get a 51, that is, say, 50 attack, 1 health Tuna that runs into a 50/50, which becomes a 150 as a result of the skunk hyena combo. Did I say hydra earlier on? I really hope I didn't. Anyway, that was like the initial goal when I tried to do this, but it is very difficult to get that set up for a couple of reasons. Firstly, to get enough scaling to get the Tuna to 50 attack and 1 health, and also get enough levels to get, like, ideally you want at least level 2 Tuna, and you want level 3 skunk, and like all of this other stuff, and you want to be able to scale the rest of your units. It doesn't happen all that often. And when it does happen, you also don't very often see teams that just have a 50/50 unit. Oftentimes when they do, they'll have multiple, and it'll be like a broken, like, starfish team, or leviathan team, or something like that. Or sauropod bird of paradise, some such thing like that. Which is not as good, because then when they have multiple 50/50s, like, you can't really use the Tuna enough. Like, ideally, if you have a level 3 Tuna and it gets 50 triggers in battle, then you end up with 3 more 50/50s no matter what you have in the back. It's kind of like a budget Eagle Owl, I suppose. But yeah, I never got a situation where that worked, so instead I have this game, which had some pretty interesting stuff happen, because I ended up using Behemoth as my main way to get stats outside of the Tuna setup. And you'll see in one of the fights, the Tuna actually gets the Behemoth over 50/50, which is quite fun. Freezing Skunks. I'm buying Eat Me Cake early on the Tuna, because I know that, like, if this build is to be successful at all, I will eventually take a hyena. So I may as well buy Eat Me Cake while I can't find chocolate naturally. And I have an elk here to try and generate gold with the level 3 cell pet. I know. Fun elk game. Elk is so much fun. I know you love to see elk being used for the 50th time, but it's a good unit, okay? It's a very strong unit that helps me get the fun builds that I want to get. I end up even selling the sea lion here just to get as much gold off of this elk as I can. And I also want to take crow because I want to be able to get the level 3 skunk. Like, especially late game, this really doesn't work unless you have that. Yeah, we're very clearly losing this fight. We go down to 2, but it's not that bad, to be honest. It's perfectly fine. I wonder if I could have taken, like, Hercules Beetle. That might be a shout for if I attempt this again. And try and get the full, like, 50 attacks on a tuna. Yeah, I'm taking absolute ton of stuff. I cash out on the elk gold pretty early. Just because there's nothing I incredibly, like, need on tier 6. And being on tier 5 gives me a high chance to get, like, skunk and blobfish and crow and all of... And the hyena as well, and, like, all of the XP generation to try and get this level 3 skunk. Because, like, it's incredible how quickly the build falls apart if you don't have level 3 skunk. This guy, your mother doesn't love you. I've heard the tales of this arena player, but at the same time he is running a wombat, which is pretty damn cool. Level the blobfish, and I find enough chocolate to get the level 3 skunk. You see, I just take it immediately and run a 4 squad, because like having a level 3 is way better than having a level 2 and level 1 separate, especially with this build. So you'll see it here. I'm gonna slow this down a bit. This is the highest health unit, and you'll see the skunk removes all of its health, and then hyena swaps attack and health. And if the tuna was in front, we would get triggers off of it, but the blobfish ended up being in front. But you get how it works. We just about draw this fight. And look, I could have definitely done more attempts on this. I didn't spend, like, a massive amount of time trying to get the perfect run, like I have done with some other things, like the AFK challenge or the charity challenge. But honestly, I just wanted to get a video out. It's been a little bit since I've uploaded a video, because I've had, like, other stuff, like other competitive things. I had quite a few, like, Tetris matches. For those of you who don't know, I also play Tetris somewhat competitively. The original NES version. Anyway, look at this. Giant pony. 3041 giant pony. Yeah, whatever. Thanks for giving me free tuna hits. Really appreciate that, friend. And so this is gonna be her 7 times. And it gives a bunch of stats. That's what, 14 in stats? That's still pretty underwhelming, to be perfectly honest. Because that's just like a level 2 mammoth. In fact, it's worse than a level 2 mammoth. Anyway, so at this point I'm basically just rolling for, like, Eat Me Cake and fried shrimp. To not only to, like, get more attack, which converts to health, but also to remove health, which converts to attack. Because if I have too much attack, I'll just end up killing the thing too quickly and getting less triggers on tuna. Anyway, we face a giant lynx team. It looks like we're gonna lose. But then the tuna carries us. incredible amounts of stats. Surely this makes it good. No, I'm massively coping. I don't even take Tuna that much when I'm playing like static packs, and yet I still think I take it way too much. The unfortunate reality of this old guy. These behemoths are great because they balance out attack and health like perfectly, so they're never going to be affected by Hyena's shenanigans. They're just a flat, like, massive amount of stats. This team's pretty cool. Panther Tomato, and then the real Velo brings it back, the Parrot brings it back. I respect it, but also it's gonna completely kill us, right? It's gonna completely kill us. Just kidding, because the Tuna trades with this, and they summon a Cuckoo, which then gets all the Tuna stats, and we win. Actually unbelievable. I thought that, like, I was so annoyed because I looked away from this fight and thought, oh my god, we've lost. You know, like, this is a dead run probably. And then I looked back and I see the win screen. I just think, oh my god, what could have happened to possibly get here? Anyway, we buy Melon. Just because we have 2 giant behemoths. And they're gonna get even bigger with Tuna stats. 2550 leech. What's this guy doing here? Convert to 1 health. Become a 127 leech, buddy. It's beautiful. And it gets hurt 22 times. Look how big this behemoth gets. This is the stuff that makes me keep playing Sap, man. You love to see it. It's brilliant. I just know someone can do better. I know that it's possible to get the full 50 attacks on a Tuna. It's just very RNG heavy. That's why I'm just buying the damn apple. Because I'm probably going to end up just winning or losing this next fight anyway. I almost wanted to lose it, but I didn't want to throw the run and, like, not have a win screen. Anyway, here's the same again. Owl with a ton of health gets no attack, and we just get to watch the Tuna repeatedly chomp at it, I guess. It's been hurt 12 times. It's just such an underwhelming amount of stats, isn't it? We do all that, and it's hurt 12 times, and it just, like, doesn't... It barely gives anything. But oh well. We do win. So that was the run. I'm quite happy with this team. I'm sure that, like, more stuff could be done with it. You could probably do, like, a, you could have, like, a Chihuahua with even higher attack to just always move the... Like, the dream setup for this, right, would be if these two were instead level 2 and level 3 Chihuahuas, so that wherever the highest health unit was, it would always come to the front, and then you would always get Tuna triggers, but that's just way too many levels to deal with, like, because then that leaves you no space for scaling. That would be a very difficult team. If somebody was, like, able to pull that off, I would be very impressed. You know, I'll challenge you to it, because if you want to try and do this, but instead of the behemoths, it's like Chihuahuas to set up where, like, the highest health unit is always first. Be my guest. I'm not gonna go for it, but I know there's some people in the community crazy enough to do it. So I guess that's about it from me. Thank you for watching. We need to do something about this guy. He's too cute to be this bad of a unit. Alright, have a good day.